Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of My View on Books. You're watching MaddiE with MaddiE. I'm MaddiE Dawson. This is episode number 27, and we are gonna talk about a short story, novella. It's like 120 pages, and I read it quickly. So the book name is "Don't Run, My Love" by Easterine Kire. You can see in my Firefox. I have done a review. I've written a review, so we'll look into it. So it's by the author Eastern Kire. So recently I read Son of the Thundercloud, and I have done a review about that book. You can go check in the playlist. So I was impressed by the author because the narrative structure is kind of fantasy, and it is mixed with both reality as well as fantasy worlds. And I really liked reading Son of Thundercloud, so I thought maybe I'll check out the other works done by this author. So that's how I ended up in buying this another book, Don't Run My Love. Yeah, so let us look into the review first. My review. So I write a blog, and I write a lot of blogs. So book reviews is one of them. So you can see one word review, spellbinding. Obviously, it's kind of mystifying story, and it keeps you makes you to read continuously. It doesn't have that boring stuff. And in Goodreads, it's 3.72. And yeah, I've written like short review of this book, and my verdict is a mesmerizing magical tale about a mother and a daughter. Yes, so we'll come back to that. So the story of this book is it's a mother and a daughter. So the mother name is, it's difficult to pronounce. I think the author is from Nagaland, so the nativity is shown in the naming as well. Visunuo, and the daughter name is Atunuano. Atuno. So it's difficult to pronounce. Let's say Visu and Atu. Okay, so they are the mother and daughter, and the husband unfortunately passed away due to a very intense fever a few years back. So the daughter is kind of in an age where she should get married, and that's I think 1920 in their culture. And she has been so there were some proposals from the, so they're living in a village basically, and there were some proposals from few of the boys, but she rejected. And in the opening of the story, they are seen working in their field, right? So the field is kind of far away from the village, and they have to cross a forest to go to the place where they live, and the field is kind of other end of the forest. So they are working in the field, and at that time, so it's gonna rain. So before the rain comes, they have to move the crops, harvested crops, to the hut nearby. So they have this storage hut, and that's when this youngster called Kevi, he comes and he offers to help, even though they are kind of not wanting to get help from a stranger, but it's about time the rain is going to come, so they think that okay, let him help. And that's how they get introduced to Kevi. So the mother and daughter get develop a friendly relationship with this stranger Kevi. And he says he's kind of hunting in the nearby forest, and so that's how, so they talk for a while and they leave. He offers to help until they reach the village, but they politely decline. And the next day also he comes, and it's kind of a developing relationship. So the problem now is, in the people in the village have this have culture, right? So a daughter in a age where she has to get married, having a relationship with a stranger is kind of awkward. But these mother and daughter is not like okay with that. What's wrong? And someone is offering help. What's wrong? Like, they offered help and we accepted it, and it's nothing, really nothing, right? So this is how it gets awkward for them in the village. And it comes to a point, okay, they're gonna ask the stranger, and now it's not a stranger. So ask Kevi that, are you intending to marry my daughter? If that's the case, you come to meet us, or else you don't here onwards, you don't come to meet us. And then they discover something really horrifying. So that's when, so until then it's kind of realistic world, and I was looking out for this magical stuff and fantasy stuff, because this author's previous book was filled with a lot of magic and miracles, and this book is kind of like setting out on a narration where we are exposed to this daughter and mother and working in a field, and there is this village, so everything seemed normal, and suddenly after this revelation, it gets fantasy and magical. So basically, the stranger Kevi is a were tiger. So we know werewolf, half wolf and half human. So were tiger is half tiger and half human. So I first time I'm coming across such term and such cultural myths where there is a tiger man existing. So basically, that stranger is a tiger man. They call it were tiger. So he's basically a tiger in the form of a human, and so he had actually asks the daughter for marriage, and she initially she rejected, but she is in love with this stranger, and then it gets weird, and she finds out that he is in fact a were tiger, and they start running away. So a tiger, were tiger is a very powerful being, so it has some superpowers, supernatural powers, so it can be used both in the right and wrong way, and they are afraid that he might attack them. And they know about this magical village, which is very far away, and nobody knows how to reach it. But the mother has already traveled when she was a teen, so when she was not married and when she was a virgin, so she traveled to this magical village, and she thinks that only if we reach that magical village, we'll get some solution, or we can escape from this were tiger. So they set up on a journey to this magical village, and they reach there, but still they could not find a proper solution or a way to escape from this were tiger. And they again start to run from this magical village to anywhere, and finally what happens is the whole short story. It's about 120 pages in length, and as I said, more than 50%, I say 50% of the story, you would be feeling like you are reading a contemporary story setting, and there's nothing fantasy about it. But after this revelation that this stranger Kevi, who's like familiar with his mother and daughter, is actually a were tiger, it gets really fascinating. About you are explained to, I mean, you are exposed to this magical village, so they talk about this magical village, how people live there, how to reach there, and who can reach there. So all those things were really amusing to read, and I felt so it's not as good as Son of Thundercloud, but it's definitely a good read. If you like fantasy, then it's a very short read that you would love to read in a day or two. And it's amazing. As I said, the narration is always the Easterine Kire is more into this fantasy world where she mixes reality and magical world. So it's definitely a interesting book. And yeah, about the characters, I think there are only three major characters: the mother, daughter, and Kevi. And obviously there are some villages, and but not very well developed or having their own background plots. It's just a short story, so they have made sure that the story revolves around these three characters. And yes, I would say it's not like a thrilling read, but it's definitely a amusing read. You will get fascinated to come to know. I haven't never know that. I know that there is werewolf, half wolf and half man, and what else? I've come across a lot of different creatures, but first time I'm hearing about were tiger. So I need to do some look up on that. Which all religions or which all cultures had this creature in their myths and legends. So it's kind of amusing. It leads you to read more about stuff like this. So that's why I think you should give a try to this book. It's definitely going to be a good read for you, and there are some things you might pick up which you didn't know. Yes. So I'll just read out some impressive lines or my favorite lines from the book. Okay, this was in the beginning. Offering a meal was the traditional way to thank somebody who had given unsolicited help. So that was when Kevi offered help in the very beginning, the very first chapter. So Kevi just meets this mother and daughter working in the field, and he thinks that they need help, and he goes and reaches out and offers help. and they are actually, so after they move the crops to the storage hut, they offer him a meal. So that's the statement here. So it's a cultural thing to do. Like if somebody offers you, anything, like, without expecting anything, they're offering you help, you need to give back at least a meal. And yes, this is one of my favorite lines. So when they're talking about the forest between the village and the agricultural lands, so they are describing it as, things are strange in darkness. It is as though the dark becomes a world of its own. So I felt it's true. It's, when it's completely pitch dark, or when you close your eyes and meditate, it's a different kind of world. And these words kind of resonated with me. Okay, the one is, what is happiness? We know that word so little. So this is a philosophical conversation between a character in the magical world and the daughter. So the daughter is kind of questioning what is happiness, and this old lady, so that's the character, so she's trying to explain that she has seen everything. She lived in the real world as well as she's now living in the magical world. So what is happiness, she's explaining, and you should read the whole conversation, it will be interesting. And finally, the night swallowed them up. The dark was a good friend and a bad enemy. So they were running away, and the lines here says that it's night. So the night just swallowed them up. So in night, the good thing is pitch dark, and your enemy will not know where you are. So it's good to hide. So that's why she says, like, the dark was a good friend, but also a bad enemy. So you might run up to another monster you cannot see as well. So that's the negative aspect of the darkness. So you cannot see also, you might run into some other monster, or predator. So it's a beautiful, like, the duality of nature. The dark was a good friend and a bad enemy. So I can see I have written like 4 lines, so it's definitely an impressive book. I was really impressed reading this book. And yes, Goodreads is 3.72. It's available in Amazon, $193. And obviously, I'm sure, confident that it will be available in any bookstore in your city or town. So definitely, if you go to the bookstore, or if you're planning to purchase from Amazon, do purchase it. It's a short story. It's called novella. We call short stories a novella, and its pages is just 119. You can finish it in a day or two if you're like hooked onto the book, or else in a week. I'm sure I finished it in a week. So yes, definitely check out this book, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of My View on Books. So we will tune in to the next episode on coming Monday, next Monday. And I have like finished 2 other books as well, so there's a lot to talk about books. And hi, Headshot Gamer. Finally someone. It's been long, you've been not around. Good to meet you. Thank you for dropping by. Yes, as I was saying, there are more books to talk about. So we are going to have continuous My View on Books episode on every Monday. And tomorrow, I'm not going to continue Call of Duty. I'm going to start new game. One of my favorite games, Spider-Man. I finished playing the first Spider-Man game, which is, I think, Marvel Spider-Man, and there is Peter Parker. It's a age-old story, and I think I would have heard or watched that version, Peter Parker story, like 5-6 times. So 5-6 version of it in different genres like movies, books, and gaming. So this is the first time I'm going to play the other character, which is recently invented, Miles Morales, a black character. So it's a very huge thing. I think getting a black character to be Spider-Man is something culturally great, and I think all over the world the black people would be really proud and kind of happy that they finally got a black Spider-Man. I think it was long coming, and yes, so from tomorrow every Tuesday we're gonna play Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. I'm so excited, so tune in. And the other schedules are going to be as usual. Wednesday we'll talk about a movie. Thursday, I think one more episode left out for A Plague Tale Innocence. Yes, Miles Morales. So I think this week, Thursday, we would be wrapping Plague Tale innocence. And coincidentally, Headshot Gamer is the one who had recommended this game to me. So if you have or if you have what do you say, if you know any good interesting story games that you want me to play, just drop it anywhere, any video, any comment, or Discord, anything. Just reach out to me and comment the name of that video or game, story game. I'll definitely give it a try. So this was actually, the Plague Tale Innocence was recommended by Headshot Gamer, and I actually downloaded demo version and played it. I really liked it. So even though the graphics and story gameplay wasn't much up to the state of the art, I really enjoyed playing the game because the story was good. It's about a brother and a sister. So yes, it's your TV as well, YouTube TV, Medley with MaddiE. And yes, this Friday it's going to be a new movie I shot completely outdoor, so I'm excited. It's different because all the movies till now, most of it were indoors, but this short movie will be placed in outdoor and it's come out really well. And do look forward to it. And weekend probably I'll catch up with a story game. I missed out last weekend, but this weekend we'll try to plan a gaming stream. Yes, and yes, thank you so much. Plague Tale 2 is coming this month. Yes, the Plague Tale Requiem something. I need to see the trailer. So maybe it's interesting. If it's in PlayStation Plus, I'll definitely download and install. Why not? We just finished the first part. Why not give it a try, second part? Thanks for the notification, Headshot Gamer, and thank you for dropping by. And viewers, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Do purchase this book if you get your hand to it. And thank you so much. I will come tomorrow. Until then, it's MaddiE Dawson. You're watching Medley with MaddiE. Bye bye. Requiem, yes, Requiem.